Even after all the therapy, all the journaling, all the meditating, if your life still feels hard, there's a pretty good chance that you've been chasing the wrong kind of ease. And the reality is, most people are. That's why even for us spiritual folks, it's so tempting to go for what the world says is the easy life. Go for the money, go for the comfort, go for all of the traditional markers of success. And honestly, from the ground level perspective, that definitely sounds like the right thing to do. Get financially secure, buy back your time, get in the best shape of your life, increase your options in the dating marketplace just in case you no longer want to be in your current relationship, optimize for comfort in every realm of life. Why fly business when you can fly private? Why drive a Honda when you can drive a Bentley? Why have love handles when you could have a six-pack? And these are the messages that we're all inundated with these days. And social media has only turned up the volume on these messages. And it's so easy to feel like if I'm not optimizing for external ease and freedom, then I must be falling behind. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the surprising truth about what it really means to live life on easy mode from a spiritual perspective. And by the end, I'm going to reveal the counterintuitive shift that most people avoid, but this is a shift that actually creates a truly easy life. Spoiler, it's not about meditating more. It's not about journaling more, but it is a shift that is going to quietly turn whatever inner work you're already doing into a superpower. All right, so let's get started. So what do we actually mean by easy mode? Because for most people, easy mode means once I make my first $1 million, or once I get into the best shape of my life, or once I attract my dream partner and my dream house and my dream team, then life is going to get easier. And that's sort of the checklist approach to internal peace. Do all the things, get all the stuff, and then you'll feel the ease. But again, that's ground level thinking. From a spiritual perspective, easy mode has nothing to do with how sexy you look. It has nothing to do with how many commas are in your bank account. Easy mode is not about what you have externally. It's about how free you feel internally, regardless of what you have. In other words, you can have the most symmetrical, chiseled, viral on Instagram type of body, and still you can feel insecure and you can feel disconnected and you can feel anxious. And there are a lot of people who feel those ways, who have beautiful bodies. You could also be a literal billionaire and still you could operate from scarcity. You're still clinging on to what you have. You're still overthinking. Maybe you're not even sleeping well at night. So no, money, beauty, access, all these options, they don't automatically lead to a sense of internal ease. From a spiritual perspective, easy mode means you've cultivated a sense of internal peace and internal freedom, so much so that you feel rooted, you feel clear, you trust your inner guidance, no matter what is happening externally. Now, that doesn't mean that life outside feels easier. It means that you feel lighter and you're living more in a sense of flow. You're not running from discomfort. You're not outsourcing your peace to your partner or to your paycheck or to the next professional milestone. You're good with yourself wherever you are, with whatever moment you happen to be in, and whichever season you're experiencing along your unique path. But here's the paradox that most people don't talk about. Trying to make life easier on the outside is usually what ends up making life a lot harder. Not right away. At first, it feels like, oh, I'm just doing the smart thing. I'm avoiding confrontation. I'm staying in the job that's stable and that looks successful on the outside. I'm sticking with the relationship that looks good on paper, even if it doesn't quite feel right in my gut. And when that little voice starts whispering to you to make a change, it's easier to ignore it. It's easier to stay where you are rather than shaking things up and messing up your money or potentially having to spend time on your own for a little while. But what happens when you keep ignoring that internal voice is you end up trading short-term discomfort for long-term stagnation, which means you could end up being that billionaire who's operating from scarcity, or the really beautiful person in the best shape of their life who feels completely insecure inside. Or you wake up a few years later and you feel like you've spiritually flatlined, you're physically unmotivated, you're emotionally restless, maybe you're mentally foggy, you don't have strong relationships, everything feels transactional, you stop listening to your internal compass, and now your life has been optimized for convenience, but you don't feel very fulfilled inside. And that is the real trap. You followed the world's idea of what's easy, and as a result, you ended up in your own version of stuck. Hey, if you've been knocking your head against the wall when it comes to daily meditation, falling off the wagon, getting back on, not quite sure if what you're doing is working, don't worry, I got you. For a limited time, I'm giving away my signature 7-day meditation kickstart for free to you, my Spiritual Perspective listeners. Plus, you'll get a free 2-week all-access pass to my entire Happiness Insiders online curriculum of challenges and masterclasses, which will provide you with a crystal clear roadmap for mastering your inner work. You'll also get support directly from me and accountability and a place to ask questions, and you can join me live for a meditation on each of your 2 free weeks. So with zero cost to you, you can get a daily meditation practice that you'll actually enjoy and look forward to doing for the rest of your life. And you'll have me to personally support you and hold you accountable. And after your 7-day meditation kickstart ends, you can start the 108-day meditation challenge and get even more support. And you can take as many other inner work challenges and masterclasses as you can fit into those 2 weeks. We have an unheard of 80% completion rate for our challenges, which is over 20 times higher than your average online course. So if you've been feeling stuck and inconsistent when it comes to your inner work practices, you will not find a better solution anywhere online. Go to thehappinessinsiders.com and let's get your meditation practice up and running today. That's thehappinessinsiders.com. And you can tell that nagging daily stress to kiss your ass. I'll put a link below in the description. So, what's the solution? From the spiritual perspective, ease is not a starting point. It's a byproduct. It's an outcome. Ease is what shows up after you've made a series of choices that are aligned with your inner truth. It's not about avoiding struggle. It's about choosing the right kinds of struggle, the kind of struggle that allows you to grow and to stretch into your potential, that puts you squarely in your growth zone. And you've probably heard this before. Nothing of use grows in your comfort zone, and there are very few comfortable experiences in your growth zone. Now, here's the remix. If you want to live life on easy mode, you don't just visit your growth zone occasionally when it's convenient. You move in. You set up your whole living room in your growth zone. And that means you stop waiting for things to feel perfect before you act. You stop waiting on external validation before you follow what's in your heart. You stop trying to forecast every outcome before you make a move. You stop outsourcing your internal peace to other people's version of success. And instead, you start tuning in. You start following those internal hunches. You start turning up the volume on your internal GPS. And you know the voice that I'm talking about. This isn't the job for you any longer. This relationship no longer feels aligned for you. You're being called to move somewhere else. But here's the deal. The path of following your heart rarely feels practical, and it almost never feels convenient. And sometimes it's going to cost you money, comfort, certainty, validation. Meanwhile, everybody around you is going for the predictable thing. And the advice that they're giving you is to also go for the predictable thing, go for the profitable thing, go for the path with the 401k and the neat little plan. And you're over here with your heart nudging you to go in the direction of the unknown. And that's when the mind can easily freak out. You start hearing all the fear-based voices. What if I fail? What are people going to think? How am I going to explain this to anyone? I'm going to sound like a complete delusional idiot. But underneath all that noise, there's that still, quiet, and persistent voice. And it doesn't deal in fear. It's not going to threaten you. Instead, it invites you. And here's how you know that voice is real. It's not going to say, hey, go get rich so you can relax. It's not going to say, hey, run away from this uncomfortable thing so that you can feel more comfortable. Instead, it's going to say, if you grow in this particular way, you're going to be able to serve. Or if you walk this path, you're going to become someone that your future self is going to thank you for. Or you're going to be able to help more people than you imagine if you take this leap of faith. Or if you go in this direction here, you're going to stop needing your external circumstances to change in order for you to feel free. And that's when the internal friction will start to dissipate. Not because your life suddenly got easier, but because you started making more aligned and intentional choices. You stopped making decisions from stress and you started making decisions from the internal peace that you've been cultivating. I call these rest-based decisions, RBDs, as opposed to stress-based decisions, SBDs, which is what most people are doing every day. They're choosing things out of fear, out of pressure, out of confusion, out of avoidance. And that's what puts you in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what creates drama in your life. That's what keeps people in survival mode. But when you start tuning in and you build consistency in your practices and you meditate even when you don't feel like it, and you root yourself in gratitude instead of in what's not going well, you start to hear that voice more clearly. And then it becomes a lot easier to follow. And when you do follow it, what happens is you find yourself in the right place at the right time more often than not. That's what true ease feels like. It feels like you're in the flow. And it doesn't happen because you avoided the hard stuff. It happens because you chose the hard stuff that was worth doing. And that is the shift that most people in general never make, and spiritual people rarely make it, because we tend to use our practice to avoid discomfort, to self-soothe, to stay calm inside of the chaos, and in some cases to spiritually bypass the real work of taking more aligned action. But easy mode doesn't come from seeking comfort. It comes from tapping into internal courage. And ironically, your inner work is not here to protect you from discomfort. It's here to help you move in the direction of that aligned discomfort a lot sooner and follow that inner guidance. And that is what turns your inner work into a superpower. That's when your life stops revolving around just managing stress and it starts to actually facilitate the expansion of awareness and the more aligned choices. That's what it means to live on easy mode. And it's not something you have to chase. It's something that you create one aligned choice at a time. Now, if you're ready to stop thinking about that and start living from that place of alignment, not avoidance, I created a free 30-day inner work kickstart for the subscribers of The Spiritual Perspective. Each day of those 30 days, you're going to get a short, practical insight and action step to help you kickstart your inner work journey. It'll just be one powerful nudge to help you build clarity, consistency, and connection with your inner guidance. So if you're serious about walking your path, not just dreaming about it, not just thinking about it, then sign up for the 30-day inner work kickstart. The link is in the description below. And if you know of anyone who could use this message, please share this message with your friends. And thank you again for tuning into The Spiritual Perspective. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you resonated with this spiritual perspective and you want more, start by checking out this one. And otherwise, we've got an entire playlist of similar spiritual perspective videos. So make sure you're subscribed and please leave a comment letting me know which other topics you'd like for me to cover on this channel.